This week, we read Parshiot Aharei Kedoshim, and in them, we learn a valuable lesson of how to relate and get along with our neighbors. As part of Parshat Kedoshim, we learn two very important lessons. The first one is Kedoshim Tihiyu, you shall be holy, which raises the question for contemporary Jews, how? How do we implement this grand notion of being holy in our daily lives? Later on, we learn, V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Allow me to share with you a story that was written some time ago, which gives us a clear example as to how we can be holy by loving our neighbor. It is entitled When the Shark Met the Fish. A small and gentle fish was swimming in the middle of a peaceful ocean. All of a sudden, the fish saw a shark that wanted to devour him. He then began to swim very quickly, but so did the shark. Suddenly, the fish stopped and he called to the shark, "Why do you want to devour me? Can we play together?" The shark thought and said, "Okay, fine. Let's play hide and seek." The shark and the fish played all day long until the sun went down. In the evening, the shark returned home. His mother asked, "How was your day, my dear shark? How many animals did you devour today?" The shark answered, "Today, I did not devour any animals, but I played with an animal called fish." "That fish is an animal we eat. Don't play with it," said the shark's mother. At home of the fish, the same exact conversation took place. "How are you, little fish? How was it today at the sea?" asked the fish's mother. The fish answered, "Today I played with an animal called the shark." "That shark is an animal that devoured your father and your brother. Don't play with the animal," responded the mother. They didn't play because they didn't meet for many days, weeks, and even months after those conversations. Then, one day they met. Each one immediately ran back to his mother, and once again, they didn't meet for many days, for many weeks, for many months. After the whole year passed, the shark went out for a nice swim, and so did the fish. For a third time they met, and then the shark said, "You are my enemy, but maybe we can make peace." And the little fish said, "Okay." They played secretly for days and weeks and months, until one day the shark and the fish went to the fish's mother and spoke together with her. They did the same thing with the shark's mother. And from that day on, sharks and fish lived in peace. The end. If I were to ask you who wrote that story, we would probably generate many different answers. A school teacher, a children's author. But I have to tell you, you may have heard this story before a number of years ago. It was written by an 11-year-old Israeli who later on in life was abducted while serving as a soldier in the Israel Defense Forces. He was held in captivity for a little over 5 years. Upon his release, Gilad Shalit reminded the world by the publication of this story that he had written about the hope for peace between Israelis and their Arab neighbors. We once again in recent days have heard of the ongoing agreements that are now called the Abrahamic Accords. Let us hope and pray that on this Shabbat, Aharei Kedoshim, after the deaths of so many holy ones, after we have observed Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, and Yom HaTzma'ut, that we have the ability for tikva, for hope that these Abrahamic Accords will expand and many more peace agreements will be made between Israel and her neighbors. Shabbat Shalom.